Hey, we have Bhushan Shinde.
Yeah. So Bhushan is one of my younger, the most oldest classmate. So he will be also a speaker. So he's Bhushan. Can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. Hi Ritika.
Hi.
Yeah. Sorry, just I am like home, so I'll just turn on the video in a while. But I'll introduce with my kid I was here. So yeah, Ritika mentioned to me about this forum, and there's like good presentations and good discussions happening. So yeah, and Ankit also called me, so we talked up today. And Ankit shared me the link for today's session. He said, you can observe so that I will also get an idea about what to present and how to present, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done like basically engineering and then MBA from IIM Calcutta, and then into entrepreneurship. I've done my job like for 15 years, and since last 2 years on my own path.
So he's my classmate from LKG. Since LKG to 12th, we were almost in same section, and he was always the first boy of our class.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Most
Welcome.
scholar friend I know, and most scholar and down to earth person I know.
I think it's Ritika who is actually in our batch. I mean, you would have also observed. I'm sure that she's someone who keeps in touch with everybody, and she has that good quality.
All right, I think we should start now.
Yeah.
Hi Sai, Amit here and rest of the team. So I'm also there. I'll be on. Since I'm having my dinner, so I'm just putting my. But in the meantime, let's start with the session.
No problem, Amit. Even I would like to have dinner, but let's see.
Yeah.
But it's
Since you are speaker today, so you do not have this luxury.
I don't have the liberty. So actually, my son is also here. That's where you can see Pahle Jayanti there. Yeah. So he also wants to be part of this. At least he wants to hear me. Not in this. All right. Yeah. Let's start. Okay. So let me share my screen.
Okay. Let me introduce you first, Sai.
Go on, yeah, please.
Yeah. So hi, good evening to all. So let me first introduce Sai. So today's speaker is Mr. Sai Kumar Jayanti. So he has over around 25 plus years of experience in IT sector. So what he told, he started with Unix, and now he's into leading the practice for cloud engineering in Deloitte. So he has seen growing IT sector as such. So with his deep insight and knowledge, he will just give us an overview of artificial intelligence. So Sai, over to you.
All right, perfect. Yeah, thanks for that introduction. So I thought I will start with a very clean blank slate. So I hope everybody can see my screen, right?
Yeah. We can see the blanks.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's where we'll start, and hopefully we'll all learn a little from what we are going to see today, right? So I thought I'll just add some color to this because it's boring just to have very little name. Everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Super.
Yes.
So, what is AI? That's what we are going to talk about, right? What is AI? Can anybody give me a quick answer? What is AI? I'm just expecting a full form for the acronym.
Artificial intelligence.
Very good. Okay. But if somebody asks me what is AI, then I should start thinking, my time in IIM Ahmedabad to find out how can I answer this, right? So the first thing that I will think is, can anybody say what?
Chai.
All right. So yeah, for people who don't understand Gujarati, it means what's in it for me, right? What's in it for me? And our Ankit has been very clever. He answered this by sending me a nice souvenir yesterday itself. So I cannot ask any more that question. Thank you, Ankit, and thank you everybody for sending me that. Right? Then the second thing I learned in IIM Ahmedabad, when somebody asks me what is AI, what do I say? No, I say it depends.
Oh,
Right?
correct.
So
Correct.
it depends. Correct. That's all we. That's what we are supposed to say, right? We have to act
Correct.
as if we know more than what we are saying, right? So now, what does it mean? It depends, right? For everything, there has to be a context, right? If I ask my father what is AI, he will say Air India, right? Obviously, right? What Air India. And if you probably searched Google probably 5 years back, it would also said AI means Air India, nothing more than that, right? But now we are in an era where it is called artificial intelligence. And this is the first lesson of the day, that for everything there has to be a context, right? Even for AI, if you go and ask, let's say ChatGPT, which is the most popular form of AI these days, right? If you go and ask question, it will only give you the popular answer. It will not understand what you're asking, right? For example, you go and search for LLM. Go and ask ChatGPT what is LLM, right? You can try it while you're running your sessions there. It will say LLM means master of law, right? But in the context of artificial intelligence, LLM means large language model, right? Sorry, large language model, right? So the idea is, what I'm saying is, it depends. Everything, it depends, right? So let me run a couple of videos to say what I'm planning to say. And why is it that I can't run these videos? I don't know.
That's a little too close for comfort, lady.
Oh, okay.
What, you never seen a talking gargoyle before? Welcome to Illuminati headquarters. You mean Denver International Airport.
Awesome.
Hello. Do I know you?
Are you hungry?
Oh, I'm starving. You got anything for me? Those flowers look delicious.
Oh.
Oh, it's because of the conspiracy. Look at me. I'm a little know-it-all. Will you get back over here? I got a question about this conspiracy. Did you have to buy an extra seat for your hat, sir? Sir, are you stealing a desk? Sir, you have resting, confused face. Do you have a favorite animal or pet? A caterpillar? Wouldn't you rather have a gargoyle? Yes. You know, you can actually put the phone down and have a conversation with me. But no, I'm a millennial. I've got to post it. I've got to snap face it and Twitter book it. Excuse me, miss, I've got a stain that needs some polishing. Can I borrow your cleaning cart? I need your help. Guess what my favorite food is?
What?
No, I want you to guess. Cumin. Yes, I love cumin. Oh, I thought you said cumin. I'm a real big spice guy. Furry hat guy. I can't believe you are wearing one of my friends. Hey, this isn't your friend. It used to be until you put it on your head, man. How old are you? Well, 243 years old now. I look good for my age, don't I? All the time. You should see my squats. Will you take me back home with you?
Let's go. I have some space in my backpack.
Actually, I think you have too much baggage for me.
Okay. So all the people who have seen this video now.
When Denver International Airport opened in 1995, it was
So for all the people who have seen this video, how much of it do you think is artificial intelligence? Give me a guess. Come on, somebody unmute and talk.
Most of it.
100%.
100%. At least, can we say that the gargoyle part is artificial intelligence? Yeah, at least
Yeah.
the animal talking to us, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you see? I mean, it is actually watching everybody, processing, recognizing people, recognizing the child, recognizing the flowers, recognizing the suitcase, right? And then interacting with the people, right?
More than anything is recognizing emotions.
Amazing, right? So, Ankit, fantastic. Now, I'm going to run a second video, which is a slightly different one, right? And then I'm going to talk about what is the difference we are looking at. Just 1 second. Again, I'll be sharing a video. And this, incidentally, is from Deloitte. Okay. So, but it's a public video. Everybody can see this. All right. And then I share.
Hello.
Hello there. How can I help you with your VAT problem?
At Deloitte, we developed a proof of concept for a virtual tax advisor, which analyzes client cases and can provide a prediction how a court would rule in such a case.
Can you show us all the ECT court cases?
Showing all VAT court cases. 776 cases found.
Can you show us all the ECT court cases with insurance, brokers, and outsourcing?
Presenting cases relating to insurance, brokers, and outsourcing.
Can you give a summary of a recent ECT court cases?
Showing case details. Presenting generated case summary.
Can you insert a client case?
Client case inserted. Presenting cases related to client case.
So these are all the relevant cases with regard to the client case.
25 cases found.
Can you compare the client case to the concepts in the ECT cases you found?
Comparing client case with relevant facts found in context.
Can you make a prediction how the ECT court would rule?
Making prediction. Taxi predicts there is a 30% chance the services are VAT exempt.
Right. Now, how many of you think that there's a lot of AI in this? Come on, anybody?
Should be 100%.
It should be 100%, isn't it?
Yes.
Now I'll tell you the real story. The first gargoyle one you saw was 0% artificial intelligence. The second one you saw was 100%. And how would you know the difference, right?
Yes.
How would anybody tell us what is the difference? I mean, a lot of people will come and tell you, we have a software which is artificial intelligence based, and you can do a lot of things with this. How can you say? Right? I'll tell you the trick. Anything with artificial intelligence needs to have data behind it. Right?
Yeah.
The gargoyle in the airport, Denver airport, was just an entertainment system, right? No data, nothing.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It probably could have been a little more intelligent, or it could be that one day we will see, on the fly people, softwares doing this. But at this point, we are not at the place where things are so well, where a personality can be projected by artificial intelligence. We are still not there. We can't go into being so artistic about being a comic and being sarcastic and doing things like that. We are still not there, but we'll be there. I'm telling you that, right? So that's the reason Mr. Edward Denning says, in God we trust, all others must bring data, right? Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Right. So he says, in God we trust, all others must bring data. What do you think he must be saying by saying this, right? What do you think he must be thinking of when he said everybody else should bring data, right? Consider something happens in your organization, right? Any of your organization, there's a big goof up, right? Then what do we do in our organizations? We create a committee, right? We bring in 4 or 5 people and say, do some root cause analysis.
Yeah.
Agree?
Yeah.
We'll all
Yes,
get together. We'll all
Yeah.
of them. What is the first thing the root cause analysis committee will do?
They will
Gather the data.
basically, evidence, sequence, data of the.
Perfect. Yeah. And we really get into what has happened, why it has happened, right? But actually, in reality, what they do, first thing they do is create a WhatsApp group. Correct?
Correct.
No? You don't? Hello? Anybody there?
Yeah.
All right. So the reality is they will first create a WhatsApp group, and second thing is they will do what they call it as the hippo algorithm. Does anybody know what a hippo algorithm is?
I
No.
just remember from our class hippo behavior.
Okay. Hippo behavior is highly paid person's opinion.
Opinion matters the most.
Correct. So
Yeah.
they will all, one of them will be a leader. He will say, this is what has happened. This is what we should all say, and everybody will agree. He'll say, yeah, you're right. That's why
Sai,
Mr. Edward Denning says, I trust in God, but everybody should bring data so that I only believe in data. Right? So, and there was a lot of studies done even 10 years back or even recently. Data is now the new oil, right? And by very conservative estimates, people say data is valued at around 37% of the company's net worth. There are a lot of chartered accountants here. I will not really challenge them, or I don't want to get into an discussion on this. This is somebody has said that. I'm sure this can be taken with a pinch of salt. There are certain organizations which will be less. There are certain organizations where, like you are talking about Google's, I think it will be much more. Their data will be worth more than 50 to 60% of the company. Agree?
Agree.
So not using the data can also lead to a lot of disaster. That's what they say. These are the 2 top readings that has come, right? And there's also an MIT review which was done. There they say that there's a high correlation between an organization's analytical sophistication and its competitive performance, right? So somebody who is using data will always be at a better advantage, right? So here is a graph, right? Where I pulled it without deliberately, I have not put in any data about this, right? You see that somewhere in Feb and in December, there is a peak, right? Now I'll tell you what this data is. This data has come from Facebook. It talks about relationship breakups. Right? Can anybody guess why these breakups are happening?
Is it because people are on holiday, they are meeting quite frequently? Or maybe
Very nice. Good one. Okay. There's also a spring break where it is high. Right? And in the interest of time, I'll not waste time. I'll say it does not matter why. Right? What can we learn from it and how can we use this as an organization? Right? Right?
Yeah.
If you are a real estate organization, you should know that couples are splitting, they need more rental property. Correct? So you should start advertising. If you are a Tinder or a marketing manager in Tinder, then you know when is the season you're going to start being more aggressive at your marketing, right?
Or if you're legal counsel, then you also.
Sai,
very correct. Yeah.
Sai, almost we are in the 20th minute, so.
All right. Okay. No, but I'm just started. Okay, so let me try and go very fast. Okay, and there is also that. So that's something what you read from the graphs and how you can utilize this information, right? There's also when you're using this big basket. Has anybody seen this? The marking here which says smart basket, and it adds automatically all the previous purchases. It picks up and then adds it up into your basket and say, do you want to go ahead with this, right? And this also says, when your checkout item comes up, it says, did you forget something? Has anybody seen this in your apps?
Yes.
Right. What is the problem you think Big Basket is solving? They say 60% of us forget.
I think they're trying to do two things.
One or two items in a grocery purchase, right? And what is the financial impact of this? Every day, Big Basket completes around 400,000 transactions. Just imagine if they have somebody has forgotten something worth 500 rupees, it is 4,380 crores. And even if it is that they have forgotten about 100 rupees item per this thing, it is 876 crores, which is a huge amount of money, right? So predicting forgetfulness can raise the revenue of a e-grocery store by 22%, right? How many of you have forgotten your spouse's birthday? You know what? I'll quickly try and see how I can finish this conversation quickly. And then let me see. So coming to artificial intelligence, there are two types which are very clear, ANI and AGI. When we are talking about ANI, it is narrow intelligence. And when we are talking about AGI, it is general intelligence, right? Narrow intelligence is where you're talking about self-driving cars, smart speakers, and so many things. So the way I would differentiate ANI and AGI would be, let's say you want to go from here to Bangalore to Hyderabad. ANI can say that, okay, we have a car, we can put you in the car and then now you can drive, right? And we know that it's a self-driving car, it will take you. Whereas AGI would start looking at what are the options I have, right? How fast can I go? Can I take a car? Can I take a bus? Can I take a flight, right? Which is the cheapest? Which is the fastest? There are so many other options. That's where we are. We are talking about levels of ANI and AGI. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 levels. In narrow, we have kind of gone all the way to level 4 at least. But in AGI, we are still at level 1, right? When we are talking about level 1, we are at a stage where we can beat the unskilled worker, but not beyond that, right? But we are well on our way to get into AGI, which will do all the work for us, right? Okay, my name changed. How do I look up then? Anyway, let's get on with it, right? So artificial intelligence is a big set of things. Machine intelligence, machine learning is something as a subset, and a deep learning is something even a smaller subset. Let us take as an example, right? I'll try and finish this in the next 3-4 minutes, okay? Just give me a little bit of time. So when we are talking about artificial intelligence, we can say that anything which can do a bit of human, which can reduce the human's effort, we can call it artificial intelligence. It does not necessarily mean that, it is the most intelligent thing, right? So for example, if you have to sort all the vegetables coming on as a conveyor belt, you can put a label on them and let the camera read it and let the arm pick the right thing and put it in the right basket. It is still artificial intelligence, right? But when it comes to machine learning, now we don't have to classify or put a label on each of the fruit. We actually, as a human, tell what are the features of a fruit, right? For example, if it is round and red, it is an apple. If it is orange and round, it's a orange. If it is a yellow and an oblong thing, it's a banana, right? We tell it the features, and the system then will classify, and based on that, it can sort, right? It is a little more complicated than AI. In fact, AI is a subset. AI is a superset. ML could be its subset, right? So how complicated is your AI depends on whether you're using ML or whether you are using deep learning, right? In deep learning, you go much beyond that. You let the system create the features automatically. It will learn, right? It will learn and do everything on its own, right? That is called a deep learning, DL, right? And a DL-based model is very expensive when it comes to computational power, because it is trying to learn everything beyond what you want it to learn. It can learn a lot of things, right? It has its own advantages and disadvantages. But yeah, for people who have the money and the ability and want to have a long-standing system, they would invest in a DL, deep learning, and have things going, right? Now,
Sai, we have another 1 minute or 2 minutes. So sorry, because the topic is very interesting. I do understand.
Ritika, do we have the second speaker here already?
Yes.
Ankit, can you please confirm it?
Yeah, hi, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll just show you this one video and then we'll stop after that. Okay, 2 minutes video, and I'll stop. And if we can actually take this in a longer session if needed. I'm sure we have plenty to show, but let me just do this. Okay.
Last year at Google I/O, we announced Google AI. It's a collection of our teams and efforts to bring the benefits of AI to everyone. And we want this to work globally, so we are opening AI centers around the world. AI is going to impact many, many fields. I want to give you a couple of examples today. Healthcare is one of the most important fields AI is going to transform. Last year, we announced our work on diabetic retinopathy. It's a leading cause of blindness, and we use deep learning to help doctors diagnose it earlier. And we've been running
the key here is deep learning, right? They've used deep learning.
Field trials since then at Aravind and Shankara hospitals in India. The field trials are going really well. We are bringing expert diagnosis to places where trained doctors are scarce. It turned out, using the same retinal scans, there were things which humans quite didn't know to look for, but our AI systems offered more insights. Your same eye scan turns out holds information with which we can predict the 5-year risk of you having an adverse cardiovascular event, heart attack or strokes. So to me, the interesting thing is that, more than what doctors could find in these eye scans, the machine learning systems offer newer insights.
Okay, if you see this, right, more than the doctors can figure out, right, the machine learning has actually figured it out because it is learning on its own, right? If you see, with just a retina scan, they could even guess the age of the person, the sex of the person, whether he's a smoker, non-smoker, right? Whether he's a diabetic or not,
machine learning,
or whether he's a, what is his BMI, what is his BP, everything, right? This is something which no doctor can do, right? This is what is the strength of deep learning, right?
Learning systems offer newer insights. This could be the basis for a new non-invasive way to detect cardiovascular risk. And we just published the research, and we are going to be working to bring this to field trials with our partners. Another area where AI can help is to actually help doctors predict medical events. Turns out doctors have a lot of difficult decisions to make, and for them, getting advance notice, say 24 to 48 hours before a patient is likely to get very sick, has a tremendous difference in the outcome. And so we put our machine learning systems to work. We've been working with our partners using de-identified medical records. And it turns out if you go and analyze over 100,000 data points per patient, more than any single doctor could analyze, we can actually quantitatively predict the chance of readmission 24 to 48 hours before, earlier than traditional methods. It gives doctors more time to act. We are publishing.
So that's where the strength of machine learning is what I wanted to show you. This is something beyond humans, right? I mean, we can't do that kind of computation. It is not theoretically possible by any human. Now the machines can deliver this, right? Now it leaves us at a very scary place. Do we become irrelevant, right? I would let you start thinking about it while we get to the second, speaker who can take it on. We will take this a little longer on another day, or any of you, if you have more interest on this, we can do it on a completely different session. And I would like to give a little more insights on what I got, right?
Yeah,
so
that
I'll
would.
stop.
Thank you, Sai.
Yeah,
So just wanted to know, we are almost out of time, so we can just stress for a minute or two if anybody has any questions or not. If no questions are there, I will just give the mic to Preeti.
I think no questions. I think no questions.
I think we could share the questions on the mail, or we could write to Sai also, and we could have a group also. We would like to invite our next speaker now. And please welcome our next guest, Mr. Ravi Pokharna, whose remarkable journey in the realms of education, entrepreneurship, and leadership has left an indelible mark on our collective aspirations. With a distinguished career spanning across diverse sectors, Mr. Pokharna has epitomized innovation, resilience, and unwavering commitment to excellence. As the co-founder and director of Engineering Watch, he has pioneered groundbreaking initiatives, transforming the landscape of engineering education and industry engagement. His tenure as Deputy Dean at the Indian Institute of Democratic Leadership and Chief Executive Officer at Rambhau Mahalgi Prabodhini reflects his passion for nurturing future leaders and fostering societal change. Today, we have the privilege of learning from his insights and experiences as we embark on a journey of enlightenment and empowerment. Please extend a warm welcome to Mr. Ravi Pokharna.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much. And Sai, it was a wonderful presentation. I joined in the beginning. So it was very helpful. And good evening, and thank you, everyone, for this interaction, this opportunity. I'm happy to sort of talk something about the topic, which is Bharat at 100, and also would try and use my experience over the past few years to make this interesting and educative. I'll let me just try and share this. I've created a small slide. It's a 12, 13 slide presentation. Is that visible? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
folks, I have, while I'm a management graduate and engineer and management graduate, but much of my experience has been, so I've spent 10 years in an organization which is India's leading socio-political think tank. So almost 50-60% of the political leaders, public representatives or elected representatives that you see today would have undergone trainings and capacity building programs at our institution. It's a 40-year-old organization based out of Mumbai and Delhi. So I've spent 10 years there. So that duration also gave me a lot of opportunity to work in government. So I have
which is that organization you are speaking about? Is it Pahle India or is it something else?
No, it's called Rambhau Mahalgi Prabodhini. I don't know, has anybody heard of this? People from Maharashtra at least would have heard of it. So Rambhau Mahalgi Prabodhini is one of its kind political, socio-political think tank in South Asia. And it has a good, huge campus. And as I said, many of the elected representatives that we see around would have undergone trainings there at one point or the other. So I've spent 10 years there, and then for the last 1.5 to 2 years, I've been running this institution called Pahle India Foundation. This was essentially founded by Dr. Rajiv Kumar, who used to head Niti Aayog. So Pahle India Foundation was founded by, and Dr. Rajiv Kumar is also the India's foremost economist today. So he founded Pahle India Foundation in 2013. So he continues to be our chairperson. And I'm going to speak to you about Bharat at 100 or Bharat at 2047 or 2050. Often spoken, much discussed, much spoken about topic. I think 2 years back when India completed 75 years of its independence, there was a lot of buzz, deliberation, and discussion on, and obviously a reflection on how much as the country we've achieved. And we also listed hits and misses as a nation. What could we have done what could we have done differently, and what did we achieve? And this also led obviously to a visioning process, a deliberation on how can we plan next 25 years in much better way. We have seen, I'm sure many of you who are in consulting space, there are reports by Deloitte, McKinsey, by Niti Aayog as well, by economic advisor to Prime Minister. They had also sort of come out with a report on the vision of 2075 or 2047, 2050 or 2047. So many organizations have done some amount of work on this. And that is the topic that we chose for today. And I'll quickly take you through the meaning. What does it mean when we talk about the planning for next 25 years? And few people also talk about India becoming a developed nation or a developed economy. What does that mean? What does it entail? What does a country becoming a developed country means? And is that the right target, or can we have better target, etc., etc.? So the few of these points I'll try and touch upon in next 12, 13 minutes. So again, we've heard this many times. This is India's moment. So what are the propitious conditions? What are the favorable conditions, both domestically and externally? Domestically, Sai also spoke. Many of us are aware that no, and first of all, since 1991, governments might have changed, but our economy's direction per se has remained consistent, and the direction has remained same. The pace might have changed. So which is one favorable condition, favorable domestic condition. And over last 9 to 10 years, the reforms have gathered pace, and few of these are GST, then ONDC, UPI, India Stack, the Diksha platform in education. Many of you might be aware of it already. Electric vehicles.
Vikas Jain, Vivek Jain, something like that. He's
So,
from India think tank. He's the nice guy.
No. So Varun, you'll have to mute yourself.
So yeah. So and then there are a few other data points. I don't want to sort of get deep into it, but these are few data points that all of us are already aware, which is the 90 crore internet users in India by 2025, 45 crore new accounts.
Guys, you'll have to Varun, you'll have to mute yourself. Varun, you'll have to mute yourself.
The moderator can also mute, I guess. Whoever is the moderator could sort of.
Varun, you'll have to mute yourself.
I think whoever is the moderator could also sort of mute.
Yeah, I informed him.
Okay.
Yeah, Preeti.
Mute yourself. Mute.
Okay. Thank you. So, we were talking about few favorable domestic conditions, and I spoke about few reforms that have taken place, and few other points like 90 crore internet users and new accounts, gem trinity, massive infrastructure development, total NPAs which have come below 5%. Private debt to GDP ratio, of course, needs improvement, but these are few favorable domestic conditions. Then there are other few favorable global conditions as well, which is most of us are aware about this. The entire narrative of China plus one, which gives opportunity to countries like ours, as well as like Vietnam, Thailand, and others. But yeah, then rising geostrategic advantage for India, and a number of bilateral and regional economic cooperation agreements that we have done in last several years. And then India is obviously seen as a large potential market because of its population, the India-Africa growth corridor, and a strong India diaspora is another very strong, favorable global condition. So both of these put together, they offer a great moment for India, and we need to seize this moment, and we need to ensure that we don't get stuck in the middle income trap, which is often said about Latin American countries. What is middle income trap? See, folks, generally, what are the factors which are at play in India today? We have a young population. We have the maximum population bulge is of youngsters, and this will not remain so for many years. So this is a window of opportunity for us for next 25 to 35 years. And after that, African countries may have that particular strength. And another strength today is low per capita income, that offers low per capita income as well as high population, high working population. Both of these factors put together, they offer great opportunity for global manufacturers to shift their shops or shift their factories, manufacturing facilities in India. But as I said, we won't remain young country forever. So this particular window of opportunity is available only for 2 to 3 decades. So we can't afford missing this, because after that, again, our dependency ratio, which is the ratio of working population to total population, which is 68 to 70% in India as well. So we can see these data points that globally also it will begin in decreasing, and in India also it is around the same 68 to 70% in 2023 for India. So we have a good dependency ratio or working population ratio to total population. Today it's very healthy. So what we need to do in the next 25 to 30 years so as not to fall in the middle income trap is that in this next 2 to 3 decades, we need to increase our per capita income. We need to rapidly increase our per capita income. If we are not able to do that, then we will stick being a low per capita income country like as Latin American countries. This is a slide which gives us the real picture. In 1990, the GDP, US GDP was 6 trillion. China and India were almost similar economies, 300 to $400 billion economies. In 2023, which is around 3 decades from 1990, China is 18 trillion economy, while India is a mere, the updated data would be around $3.8 trillion, which is we are way below China. If you look at the right hand side of the graph, exports in India, $680 billion, while China is exporting equivalent to India's GDP. And FDI numbers are also, you can compare. Then look at the per capita income. In 1990, India had 6% of the global average per capita income. Indian per capita income was just 6%. China was also at the same mark. In 2021, we are 18% of global average per capita income, while China is 85% of the global average per capita income. So these are the numbers where we have lost. So if we want to seize the India moment, we need to specifically work on these 4 things. One, we need to have ambitious aspiration. In other next 2 slides, we'll talk about what can that ambitious aspiration be. Second is we have to effectively manage triple transition. See, we are the only country, not just probably, we are the only country in the world which has the huge challenge of managing this transition at a social or political transition or transformation, along with an economic transformation as well as environmental transformation. We are expected to achieve all these 3 simultaneously. All the countries, including American, Europe or Japan, most of these countries, they did their economic transition exploiting environment. But we are supposed to reduce our carbon footprint, yet grow, yet improve our GDP. So it's we are the first country which has to ensure all the 3, 4, and in fact political transition as well, all these 3, 4 transitions simultaneously. Third, catering to India's diversity, we must have models which are decentralized and decentralized design, decentralized decision making. We need to generate jobs where people are. Fourth is building mutual trust between civil society, government, academia, private sector. I am reminded of a saying by Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji when he was Prime Minister. I think in 2002, he spoke in the National Voluntary Sector Conference in Vigyan Bhavan. He had said that a country's growth, or like a country like India, its growth could be compared like a chariot which is driven by 5 horses. And these 5 horses, one of them is central government, second is state government, third is the PRIs, the Panchayati Raj institutions, fourth is private sector, and fifth is civil society organizations. And all of these 5, if they move in the same direction, then the horse will move very fast. So we need to ask, are these 5 horses moving today in the same direction? So that is another important key point. Now coming to what could be our aspiration. So I'll not go a lot into numbers, but then there are a few interesting things that you as corporate leaders must know. So I'll just touch upon this slide and next slide. I'll just touch upon a few points. What could be the quantitative aspiration? Our quantitative aspiration could very simply be that we want to become an OECD members. We know that OECD is a club of developed countries. We can have this aspiration, a quantitative aspiration by 2047 or 2050. We want to be an OECD member. See, today, India's per capita income is around $2,500. if we want to be a part of OECD, the per capita income required is $20,000. In fact, let me tell you, whenever Prime Minister or any of them, speak about being a developed country, as per IMF definition, a developed country is also required to have a per capita income, minimum per capita income of $22,000 or $23,000. So that is very similar to being a member of the OECD club. If we want to be that, the required rate of growth is 9%. Can India achieve 9% growth rate? China did achieve 10% growth rate for 3 decades. So that's the target we could take. Another target, another quantitative aspiration I want to touch quickly is a very interesting number. Many of you might already be aware about this amazing work done by economist named Angus Madison. Angus Madison did a huge research project running for over a decade on the history of global economics. And he found out that India's share of global GDP in 1850 was 18%. India had 18% of the global GDP. Today, it's just 3%. Obviously, we know that after Britishers, etc., our share of global GDP reduced from 18% to 3%. So another target is, can we think that when we touch 100 years, we regain this 18% global share? And there is some calculation which I would like to skip. Anybody who wants could have this presentation. But I mean, this is the second quantitative aspiration that we could think of. On a qualitative level, what could be our qualitative aspiration as a country for next 25 years? We've kind of put together these 5 points. First being, our human development indicators would at least be equivalent to the OECD countries. Second, we are able to promote GDP growth while minimizing depletion of natural capital and protecting the environment. Third, as I said, we should be able to generate jobs where people reside to prevent large-scale migration, a problem which countries like China are facing. And fourth, decentralized economic decision making, which is at district level decision making. And fifth, instead of GDP, can we have another measurement like a gross welfare product? Okay, so this was about aspiration, but at the same time, the challenges are huge. And these are 4 big challenges that we've just put together. One is intense climate vulnerability. We are aware about the issue of climate change and how globally it is one of the most pressing and enormous challenges of our times today. India is the 7th most vulnerable country in terms of climate extremes. Second, employment generation is the second biggest challenge of the country. Third, massive diversity. There's a small indicative number which is given here. In terms of state per capita income, the ratio between the state per capita income of Goa and Bihar is 10:1. So look at this massive diversity, massive sort of inequality in the country. Fourth is we need to ensure inclusion. Fifth, income inequality. Again, staggering numbers that 10% of Indians hold 57% of the total national income, and while half of the population of India just hold 13%. We've just put few thematic areas. There are 13 key thematic areas which are the important levers needed to move the needle. As you can see, the outside circle is the enabling macro environment, which is global political economy, equity, macroeconomics, science, technology, and digital economy, governance, and judicial reforms. Then inner circle, you have this human production activities, and then you have essential human needs, which include health and education. And at this core, you have natural systems, climate, environment, and sustainability. So these are 13 levers that we identified. We don't have much time to get into detail, but one can have a look at these. Okay, so last 2 slides. We need a new development paradigm. We've just put together 2-3 things for you to think over, ponder over, and trigger your thought process. One, can we think of, as I spoke about, having a distributed or decentralized decision making process can we make district as the fulcrum of development. And you'll be happy to know that few states have already taken initiative in this. We are closely working with Assam government and which is doing some transformational work on this space. Then second is, can we have a large scale switch to zero chemical farming? Those who understand agriculture or maybe are agriculture economists would understand that biochemical based agriculture has already served its purpose and it's now a major threat to environment, soil and human health. IISS institution, Indian Institute of Soil Health in Bhopal, tells us that has a report that for land to remain arable, it requires 1.5% carbon content. At the time of independence, the carbon content was 2.4% in our soil. Now it's 0.4%. So we could say that our land is not even arable now. So we need to urgently work on zero chemical farming. And we see what's happening in Punjab. Most of you know about this cancer train which runs from Bhatinda to Bikaner. I mean, train for about almost a decade. And it's called cancer train because it's full of cancer patients. And this is because we are using too much fertilizers, too much urea, which is now seeping into crops and through that into human bodies. So that's the second paradigm that we speak about. The third is generating jobs where people are. Focus on employment. I will again like to highlight this staggering data, which is the per capita income of Goa versus per capita income of Bihar is 10:1. This is unacceptable. This is unsustainable. We can't manage like this. This is hugely uneven, inequitable growth. And present model, which is based on maximizing GDP, it gives zero attention to intra-regional equity. We need to think of a mechanism. We can't afford this large-scale migration model of development, which is in countries like China. Currently, also, India sees a migration of about 4 crore people. Many people say that this is also a human exploitation issue, that so many people leave their families to get jobs elsewhere. East to west, this migration of about 4 to 5 crore people every year. So, I mean, this was the last slide. And lastly, technology can make it possible. Sridhar Vembu of Zoho has sort of done an experiment and has offered a solution. The way he's running his company from tier 3 sort of towns and villages, he's set up facilities there. So these are certain things that I wanted to highlight, and I'll be happy if you have got questions, but I thought, I'll quickly take you through how we could plan next 25 years as a country better.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ravi, for taking us through your presentation and letting us know the parameters that we're looking at making India a developed nation by 2050 or 2047. Hope all of us collectively are able to contribute to even small extent to achieve that dream. And it's great to know what do we have to work upon. Thank you to you. And now we'll open this entire forum for the questions to him. And we have 5 to 10 minutes. We would.
Prashant, Mr. N. Prashant.
Hey, hi, Ravi. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. Good to meet you.
Good to see you after a long time.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey, excellent
Great.
presentation, man. Excellent.
Thanks. Thanks.
I have 2 questions. One is, we all know that China's growth was largely because of manufacturing. Okay. And we as a country, are we doing enough to promote manufacturing? I mean, number 2 is...
Bharti, can you mute yourself? Bharti, can you mute yourself? Bharti, can you mute yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 2 is, we see a lot of optimism and, sometimes it's you really get to thinking, is it all real? Okay. What is actually a risk? We see only the good side of everything. The newspapers, the media, everybody promotes everything good about India. what is the risk? I mean, we had this India sharing campaign also way back, and BJP lost the election that time. Is there some other risk? Is there anything which we don't see?
Yeah. So quickly, question number one: have we lost the manufacturing story? No, but let me tell you, we spent and we wasted a lot of time thinking that our solution would come by working on MSMEs. Only very lately, government has realized. See see ultimately how globally these manufacturing systems work. These are global value chains, and these global value chains move from one country to another. So typically, they will stay in a country for 2 to 3 decades. Hmm. So for example, earlier South Korea, countries like South Korea, Japan, etc., were there. Their per capita income was low. They had a young population. All the global value chains shifted there. Now, after that, global value chain shifted to China. Now, the per capita income in China has increased. Manufacturing has become costly there, and China plus one is also now going refrain, and people are talking about shifting either to Vietnam or to Thailand or to India, and India is not one amongst equal, is equally getting distributed. So now, but I think now government and the industry is also realizing that if you need to get large scale manufacturing here in India, you just need to bring in the lead partners of global value chain to the country, and that will ensure that you have you have your entry in the global value chain, and then your MSME sector grows. So we closely work with government and few of the leading industrialists on this. I think it's very late. Few of the PLI schemes, etc., have not worked. One or two have worked out of the 14 PLI schemes government launched. A couple of them have worked, others haven't. But I think now government is actually finally, they have got hold of the game. And let's see, in next coming 5 years, I'm very hopeful personally. Electronics, I think the only success story we have is Apple, and we closely work. Yeah. So, but let's see if we are able to replicate. So that's question number one. Question two, you said how much, what's the risk? So obviously, while India is shining in bits and pieces, so infrastructure piece is good. Our geostatic, the way our global sort of outlook has obviously improved. Infrastructure, global outlook, and third, the digital India story is also real and it's also strong. But then we just don't have to sort of, there is a huge whole lot of issues, whole lot of problems which are there. We barely started. So I spoke about the inequality, huge inequality that exists, very low per capita income, and we don't compare with China. I just showed this number that China's export is $3 trillion, which is our GDP. They export one India every year. So we have no comparison at all. We can be very happy about our situation. So a lot more to be covered. The only risk is we shouldn't get complacent that we have achieved a lot. All the shining story is to get us confidence and not complacency.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah. Thanks, Prashant. Nice connecting with you. Not long.
Hi. Kasha here. So what do you think would be the possible implementation steps, or what should be like short-term targets that
I can see Kasha on the screen. I can't see Ravi.
Yeah. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah. Yes, I can.
So what should be our short-term goals, or like so to have to work towards this from a private company or a startup, what we should be eyeing upon?
Short-term goal from a private startup or a company perspective, to leverage on our strengths and make maximum of it. So while largely, so as private sector, the private sector participation, the India story or whatever we've been doing in last couple of years is largely driven by the capital infrastructure, capital investment by government. The private participation in India's growth story is still limited. So while you will have to think of as it will be this answer will be sector specific, but then what I can say is there is we have a number of sunrise sectors today, which is green energy and all this solar, etc., etc. So as a startups which are, if they're working in there, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to, I mean, the world is actually watching at us. And I work in a think tank. We often are in touch with companies in Europe, US. So they're very keenly interested in India, mostly because of our size. We're a huge country, and if we get things in order, obviously we will become a major force. And also because of the huge geopolitical situation today, the big countries are fighting, and then we are in a sweet spot. So as a startup or as a company, we must utilize this little opportunity window that we have and make maximum. There are few sunrise sectors. One, of course, I shared is the the entire green, the energy space, the climate change space. There are a number of opportunities there.
Actually, we are a carbon neutral company since 2006. We have a small 4.6 megawatt of capacity.
No. I'm not talking about you being carbon neutral. I'm saying this as a business opportunity.
Yeah, I'm just sharing that.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm just saying entire climate change as a huge business opportunity, which as a country also we're trying to tap, which is a very sort of shrewd move by our people. Looking at this entire as a business opportunity. So we've taken some initial moves on that. We have International Solar Alliance. We have a good thriving electric vehicle space. Now we are investing hugely in hydrogen, etc., etc. So I'm looking at it from a purely business opportunity angle.
And is there a data like statewide? One strange thing I'm seeing I'm from Tamil Nadu. What I'm seeing is, people in Tamil Nadu, there's a lot of reluctance towards manufacturing or people coming to a manufacturing company. People looking at service, but over the years, if you look at the data also, the shift from manufacturing, the services has grown, but there are a lot of capital intense industry. I come from a textile sector, so that's one of the second largest employment industry after agriculture. And people, few of my friends in agriculture also, they face labor challenges. So how do we address, or how do we bring in the next gen into these kind of industries and things from the local from the local communities?
Tamil Nadu is the manufacturing hub of the country today. All this India's large-scale manufacturing successes are based out of Tamil Nadu. Apple's plant is in Tamil Nadu. All electric vehicle factories are in Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu is an example which rest of country is planning and trying to follow. In terms of people working, so there were 2-3 parts to your point. So one is about Tamil Nadu. I see Tamil Nadu as the most shining example of manufacturing in India today. All manufacturers want to go to Tamil Nadu. That's the only place. So that's point one. Point two is about this. The entire service versus manufacturing debate is over now. We had this for ages now, but over last 5 to 10 years, this is a very solved problem. This is no longer a debate. Any country which has to touch a per capita income of, let's say, 20,000 or something, have done this only through manufacturing. So while we keep on doing great work in service industry and try move up the value chain, R&D, etc., etc., but then there is no getting away from manufacturing. And agriculture also has its severe, agriculture has got its limitations. We are very happy of producing highest amount of rice in the world, but other countries are not producing rice because rice takes a lot of water. So when we export rice, we are exporting water, and water is such a valuable resource. So it's not good that we are producing so much of rice. It's not great that we're producing so much of wheat. So that's nothing to be proud of. So, but so manufacturing is the only way forward. That's a solved problem. And third piece was how do we attract youngsters and the labor challenge problem, etc., etc. You are aware, 3 years back, government had tried introducing these 4 labor laws, which massively backfired. I'm hoping that in this next tenure, again, these labor codes would be introduced. And because they are very important, we need to keep pace with the world, and these labor codes are important. We can't work having archaic labor laws. The manufacturers, etc., they won't come to the country. So that's about the labor piece. And as far as other youngsters wanting to work, I have different example. Zoho, Sridhar Bamboo, very close people. I've seen how they function. Ola factory, you might be aware, on a single shop floor, they have 10,000 women working. Only women factory, 10,000 women working on a single shop floor in Tamil Nadu again. So youngsters are interested. People need job. There are so many unemployed people. So that shouldn't be a problem. And people can continue working in service industry as well as in manufacturing. Obviously, more educated people will prefer going up the value chain as more and more R&D facilities come up. I think youngsters would be more, the educated youngsters would be more interested in going there.
Hi, thank you.
I think we should take this one last question because we have already taken a lot of time.
So let me take Ravi. Ravi, thanks for nice presentation. I have two questions. One is that the way we are planning to be in a growth trajectory in the China did. So how do you look at that? The India is India trying to follow the Chinese path, or are we trying to do something different in India? And secondly, like we need to focus on the manufacturing, but manufacturing has its own pitfall of the pollution. So do you have any perspective on this, that this is going to become like we are all focusing on electric vehicles, but it's transferring the problem. So instead of having the pollution in the cities, again, it's going to be at the location where the power is being produced using the non-fossils. So just if you can share the perspective, how do you look at it?
Sure. So, two parts. First, are we following China model? No, we can't follow China model because China's model was about, again, large scale manufacturing, because they have huge population and very organized population. Their capabilities are very different. They could get lands for their factories overnight, almost in a week's time. And our land acquisition, if you would remember, in 2014-15, the first law that the government brought in was land acquisition bill, and there was such an uproar that they had to take this back. So we are a democratic country, and at times I traveled to Beijing and Shanghai several times. In what used to be their heydays, they used to explain us and teach us, and they used to tell us that democracy is not meant for large countries. We must have dictatorship as well. And those were their heydays. Now they are not that happy anymore. So we can't follow Chinese model. One was their because they are non-democracy. They don't have to ask anyone, because they are a communist nation. All the land is owned by the government. So they can they can acquire land at will overnight. So that's another. Then they have these large facilities. Labor exploitation is very prominent, etc., etc. They have lakhs of people. Lakhs, when I say lakhs, people working on one shop floor, they will work for 10, 12 hours. Labor laws, etc., etc. There are huge questions. So, and then that was the second thing. Third thing, they were a closed economy. They were not following any of the WTO rules. US and countries like US and Germany, they supported China, and they thought China will be a great sort of balancer against Russia. It is only very lately that they realized that China is bigger evil than Russia. So they would not allow any other country to stay aloof, be a closed. Their currency was not valued properly, but the world watched. The US-led world watched China and allowed China to do all what it was doing. And the fourth and last piece is China's growth came at a sort of huge environmental exploitation. Again, nobody saw China doing this. A number of their popular rivers dried up, etc., etc. We can't do that. We are a very open society. Their media is also closed. So we are very open. We can't do that. We can't adopt that model. And that's why our growth will take longer time. We are a democratic country. We can work only that way. But so I mean, that's why we'll take a lot of time. If there is a nice small report by Goldman Sachs, which says the pathway to 2075. It talks about next 50 years. You guys might have a look at this. It's a 10-pager report. So Goldman Sachs has been studying various countries for the next 50 years, and this project they've been running for last 10 years. They have just very recently published this report. It says that by 2075 we will be second largest second largest economy. I think China and India will be almost similar. By 2050 we'll be third largest. We will stay third largest for a long time, but China will stay almost equal or slightly ahead of the curve.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for elaborative response, Ravi. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ravi, for being the part of this meet and giving us such a valuable information. And yeah, it was a wonderful session. Sai, thank you so much if he's still around for talking about AI. And yeah, that's what.
So maybe we can circulate the presentation as well. Interesting presentation,
no? I'll share with Ankit and Ankit can okay. But it was good interacting with you. Thank you.
One last thing I would like to say, Mr. Pokharna, like I'm working on some show which is based on agriculture. I might need your valuable inputs to make that show better and reach more people. So I would reach out to you once my format is locked and everything.
Yeah. Sure. Wonderful. In fact, I also wanted to say that this is a good initiative that you people have taken. I also did SLP 2 years back, and I was suggesting Ankit that you can try this for 1 or 2 more months, and you can bring in good speakers, and then I'll ask my people also to sort of merge our batch. It's a good it's a good way to
That will be a very great initiative.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Chalo, Ravi, we'll bother you with more questions in future.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
Chalo, great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Everybody.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the technical glitch from my side.
No.
It's okay.
I appear as Ankit, but then I'm there. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Sai, to you also for wonderful session.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.